Dude, I recently discovered Twitter again. Like,
Mm,
I was the kind of person who never really, um, I quit Facebook and I don't know if Twitter was there back then or not. I think it was there.
hmm,
I quit everything in 2009. I still have that email in my Gmail account. I mean, the Gmail account I had, I think. And in that, it says that we are sorry to see you leave. And it says that if you want to restart your account, you can.
hmm.
And I think after 10 years or 15 years, I think a couple of years ago, I tried to log in back again, see if it brings back my old account.
Right.
And when I went in, and it told me, would you like to reinstate it, even
Mm-hmm.
after 10 years? So, but I do not hit the OK button. I do not know when it brings back what kind of information will bring back. But it's shit anyways, garbage. I do have like a fake account just to like look at the marketplace or just follow someone who's got a group or something, but I don't
Right.
post anything. Recently, I found this on Twitter. Uh, this guy or girl, whoever it is, or maybe a trans man, trans woman, culture
Hmm.
critic.
Interesting.
Okay, this guy, he posts photographs of great architectures that were done back in the day. Okay,
Yep.
and he talks about you know um, how Fiat architecture compared to it's like basically if you go out there today, even in your own suburb, you look at the houses. We
Right.
have a mutual friend, you and me. I went to his house for Eid. He invited me over. After
Mm-hmm.
Eid, I went to his house, and I see him once a year or twice a year usually. He's got a big
Right.
family now, and I've got a family, and he lives quite far away. He lives about an hour away from here, so we don't really catch up much. But once a year, he'll be like, "Chal, aaja, jo bhi hai." So I went to visit him, and I noticed that he's got a double-story townhouse. Townhouses in Australia are basically, where you have your rooms upstairs and you have your living room and you have your kitchen, everything downstairs, the garage and everything downstairs. And if you want to watch the TV, you have your living space, dining space is downstairs, and all the rooms are upstairs with the one toilet underneath, and rest of the toilets are up. So I think he's got a 3 4 bedroom house, and I noticed that he's got a balcony on his second floor, and it's all brick. The whole house is made out of bricks,
Nice.
and he bought that about 12 13 years ago cash. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now if you have a townhouse, I mean, I'm on a fucking monitor, but if I wish, I could just pick it up and show you outside. All houses, only the first floor, the ground floor, is made out of bricks. Upstairs, they use hebel or some shell, some kind of composite kind of a thing. So, getting a fully bricked house in this economy anywhere is now impossible unless you got the cash. The bricks are a bit like they're like gold. As inflation happens, then the price
Mm-hmm.
of brick always keeps going up. It doesn't.
Right.
There is, nobody's figured out a way to make bricks cheaper. Bricks will always cost because it's a standard. It's made of clay or different kind of materials put
Yeah, it
together.
needs labor
It needs labor, right? So,
and sand.
and correct. So now, if you look at if you spent $1 billion back then to build, let's say, the cathedral or the Vatican or all these places, and the artistry. It's not just building the arches and it's building the columns. वो सब नहीं है. On top of that, they got the paintings and all the statues and all the stuff over time that they've built and maintained, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
can see the craftsmanship of these people. If you wanted that exact same standard today, I think it's priceless. There is no, even all the sheikhs in the world that have to pull all the money together, they'll not be able to build that cathedral that they have in Vatican. They probably could, but even if they have the money, the artistry is not there. The craftsmanship is all gone. It's finished. We've actually lost it. And then when we look at the pyramids, it's the same thing. People cannot look. There's only two theories in my mind. One is that either I was going to talk about inflation, but I'll come back to it. Either pyramids were built by aliens or some alien technology or whatever, or people cannot accept the fact that we had such good minds back then, we had such good education system back then, or
Mm-hmm.
human beings as a tribal people or empires, they were so good at building things and nurturing things that we just using our brains were able to do all those things. And alien and all that is just an excuse to say, okay, look at they do not want to accept the fact that we are teaching our children shit. We are growing up with a shitty, education system, and we've outsourced everything and offshored everything. तो हमें कुछ आता ही नहीं है बनाना, right? And same thing with inflation. Inflation is so high right now, and
Well,
it's just going to continue going up. That all you can build now is just shit architecture. You look at that movie, The Murder on the Orient Express.
hmm
And there's a bunch of remakes been done. The recent one was one with Johnny Depp,
hmm
and who's the villain in Tenet? The guy who plays the villain in Tenet,
Kenneth Branagh.
Kavanaugh, Kenneth Branagh. He directed and he starred as Pierrot, Inspector
Poirot.
Pierrot or Pierrot, yeah, in
Poirot.
that
Poirot.
Pyro
Mm-hmm.
in that movie. The great example that's given about inflation is that the the Orient Express, right? It's a Turkish train,
hmm
okay, and it travels between the Sahara into the continent, European continent, and back into Turkey. Okay, that is
Wow.
the that is the Orient Express, and it's a real train. It still exists till today. If you look at the pictures of the Orient Express, and you look at what we have now for our fucking godforsaken public transport system, or even
hmm
if you compare it to the great Rocky Mountain train you have in Canada, you compare it to the great, I call it the Khan, but Aussies call it the GAN. It's basically on the Afghanistani Khan. They call it the Great Khan. It's a train. You compare
hmm
all the classic trains that they're running now compared to the Orient Express. You can see that what fiat money can buy you compared to what look at this.
But inflation is coming down, man. What are you talking about?
So this is the Orient Express.
Wow.
Okay, and look at this is the interior of the Orient Express.
Right.
It's one of the most luxurious trains. Kings and queens and princesses used to travel on this thing. It's still there, and this is
hmm
the model that they've built for the movie. I think the movie is not shot on the original Orient Express, but they have built the set, and the set design, interior design is based on the Orient Express, because that's what the story is set on. So Agatha Christie, when she wrote it, she traveled on it, and obviously, you know, she wrote it keeping in mind that we are on the Orient Express, and there's all these photographs, right? And it's been kept like that for over a century now. They've kept it like that.
hmm
I'll see if I can find any bedroom photographs, but look at this.
No.
This is the street at the
Mm.
Okay, now
Looks antique.
yeah, yeah, and, the Venice Simplon Orient Express, I think is the same one, or maybe it's a different one. I'm not sure, but Orient
Mm.
Expresses were pretty popular back in the day. Now, if I look at the Metro Melbourne,
Mm. But
this is the piece of junk that is traveling at the moment on the thing, and I'll show you the seats. Let's see. Look at this, man. That's what we
but
used
it's
to ride.
modern. Wow, look at that.
Yeah,
I like it.
look at that, bro. It's like,
It's
if I
amazing.
just look at interior,
So beautiful.
yeah,
So modern and
look at this.
progressive.
Look at this. Yeah, look at that. You
Wow.
know,
Wow, look at the design.
yeah, yeah. We
So
have
artistic.
we have gender neutral. What do you call seats now? There's no women and men's cabins anymore, or separation of
Oh,
gender.
but were there women's cabin before in Melbourne? Like, I don't know.
They had. So if you
There
look at
were?
the classic, yeah. So they had a classic train. They show it in the show The Pacific. Band of Brothers, the show on HBO. Its
Mm.
sequel is known as The Pacific. They show the old trams, so classic Melbourne trams, classic.
But but I
So
remember
women
the
used to have
same
separate seating,
seats.
basic.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think yeah they used to, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure. They
because
even have plaques, men only or women
but,
only. It used to say that back in the day.
oh,
Like they would
back
have
back
reserved
in
seating for women.
so men were filthy animals. So you got to
I
keep
think it was just
separate, huh?
I think the idea was chivalry. The idea is that
Oh,
women
really?
would get priority.
Chivalry?
Yeah,
What
which is
kind of
dead right now.
fucking dinosaur? What kind of
Yeah,
dinosaur nonsense you're talking about?
yeah. So look at these classic trams. Look at that, bro. If they're still running, you know. So we've gone from this to we've gone to this now. right? We
Yeah,
moved
but
from,
this looks nicer to me.
yeah, compared to something like this one. No, no, these
Uh,
seats were put in later. They had leather seats that were on the edges. So if you sit on the city circle, which is I think the classic tram that they're running, uh, they would have seats like these, leather seats, but they will be on the
Right.
side, right? And
Mm.
that's how people would usually sit. So over time, they've actually upgraded these seats and all that. But
But
in the movies, they show you what they usually used to look like.
s- so here's my argument, and I'm not taking any sides, right?
Yeah,
Um, is that I mean, back in the day, uh, people cared about beauty in a very classic way, right? Like, but things have changed now. Everything is contemporary, and funny enough, they all come from this German school of thought called the Bauhaus School of Design. So if you look at it, most of the stuff, and you know this brand called Brown, there's
yeah,
a
Braun,
German
Braun,
brand.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Braun.
so
I think, yeah,
lot,
yeah,
yeah. So if you look at that brand, and if you can type Bauhaus, you'll see an idea of
yeah,
what kind of. So it's almost like I would say a Nazi design, you know? Yeah,
yeah. I mean, during
everything
the
is like,
Nazi era, maybe the design came out of that, the Industrial Revolution or something, for post
yeah,
Nazism, post the fall of Germany, maybe. But I think
yeah,
that even these pieces of product, that blender, I guarantee you, if your mom had that one
yeah,
in the 80s,
yeah.
it would still be fucking running. It still be running. If you
I mean,
plug it in, it still run. If you bought a
I
new
mean, I,
blender right now, it would not run. So I think the problem is not just the design; it's also the overall how long will they
yeah,
last.
but, I mean, you can still buy blenders that, like, I have a blender called Vitamix,
Yeah,
right? Now that thing's got like 7-year warranty on it, and it costs around like, if I'm not mistaken, like 800 Canadian dollars when we bought it. So there are products out there which can stand time,
true.
and like
There are.
you
I
want you
agree.
want to service it, and then so like you were saying, what caught my notice when you were talking about is, oh, kings and princesses used to travel in Orient Express, right?
Hmm.
So here's my here's my critique to that. It's like when you want everybody else to live like kings and queens, you will, the economy does not support it. Like if
Hmm.
everybody is a king and a queen, then who the fuck is the slave?
Yeah, I mean, the slavery part. I think
Hmm.
just like how
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry, not the slave, peasants,
peasants.
the
Yeah,
plebs.
that's what I'm saying. So I think the plebs and the peasants are actually modern day slaves, and slavery, the idea in itself, it just it just got absorbed into the rest of the society. Slavery as a function and all that, it disappeared, but someone had to do that job, right?
Hmm.
Slavery got abolished, but someone had to do that job. So now all it is in a way is legalized. In a way, it's just kind of absorbed into the rest of society. But yes, not all
Right.
can be king and queens. But what I'm saying is that even if you, in today's time, are able to put down the same kind of money and have the same kind of status, even in a private jet, you'll not get that kind of luxurious interior that you had back in the day for the kings and queens. Hmm. So have you signed up for your digital currency or not? Oh my, that's it. They're coming. We'll come to that. So
So,
I think
so few of my friends, in Mississauga, They basically are doing actual grassroots grassroots stuff. So they build this kind of cool flyer, which looks like a $20 note, you know, and they're basically dropping it around town. So when people pick it up, they go, "Oh,
Oh my God,
central bank digital currency, digital
it's coming.
ID,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
cash, cash always works." And funny enough, somebody just shared something from somewhere. So there's this UN organization called UNCHR. It's like a charity organization,
Yeah.
and their video, the latest video was saying that why cash is important. And I was like, very interesting. Why cash is important for poor people? And it's like suddenly the narrative is changing towards cash, and there's a certain change that's happening right now. I feel there's a wind of change happening this year. There are a lot of changes happening. People are waking up. People are more aware of it. Most people don't have the balls to speak up openly about it because of uh, concerns of being ostracized. But they are standing up because now they have evidence to say, "Hey, this is stupid. This is not right." So I
Hmm.
feel that there's this thing happening. However, there is no change in economics, right? So I'm mostly into economics anyway. So speaking of where um, speaking of where we were going regarding
Inflation.
talking about
Well,
talking about
inflation is
inflation.
something that is impacting everything. I mean, the reason why CBDC is coming, the reason why we're moving away from classic, amazing, simplistic design and beauty in design kind of concept, like even brawn, although it's plastic or whatever, but there's engineering in that blender, right? I mean, blenders were something that were an industrial thing, and then they took that technology and made it more uh, consumable and
So
doable for and phones, you know.
so what are you
Exactly.
saying? This is not a piece of engineering?
Yeah, it is a piece of engineering, but I think that
Look at
it's
that.
the same engineering that was invented in 2008, though. You gotta understand that as well, right? Don't you think? I mean, it's the same phone. They keep recycling the same tech again and again. You know what I mean?
Look at that. This piece of black glass has so much information
Yeah.
that
Your your
that
entire
we
your entire fucking life is in that phone, bro. That's what it is, you know. Your entire life is in that phone, right? I mean, literally, you know, if tomorrow they die, if you die and they have to resurrect you, and if there's some technology where they can clone you and bring you back in life, they're gonna plug the phone in. That's what
so
they're plugging in.
so
Yeah.
so what's funny is that exactly during 2008, just before the last crash, this is when the iPhone came out.
Yeah. I was graduating
And
from
that was
uni when they announced the iPhone.
so when the whole economy of the world was collapsing, Steve Jobs comes up with this new technology, right? And suddenly everybody, even though they were poor, were wanting to have an iPhone. There were like lineups, and like people were getting in line. There was a huge black market happening. It was an interesting time while the economy is crashing.
Yeah, so I have an answer for that. I have an answer for that. I thought about it as well. So I've had, I think, 10, 15 years to think about it. So the first of all, they were making, I mean, the phone was being developed for probably 5, 6, 7 years before they decided to come out. Where Steve Jobs got lucky, apart from, coming out and trying the phone in the market and everything, in the beginning when they released the phone, they thought it's going to be a niche product. They thought, okay, if we sell a few 100,000 of them this year and the next year we'll be fine. And they didn't have any plans to make new versions every year. Like the iPod did not have a new version coming out every year. They would do it every
Hmm.
2 3 year cycle. They had a 2 or 3 year cycle where they would come out with a new one. iPhone is the first product which kind of completely changed that strategy. Okay, bhai, every year we need to have a new iPad, iPhone. They refresh their products every year incrementally. Okay. Now, when they came out of the phone, what has happened is right. The financial crisis happened. That financial crisis opened up the money printer. Money started going into the economy, and cheap money started coming into the economy. Interest rates started dropping. So what it did is it allowed Apple to create a partnership with AT&T, which is the biggest provider, and instead of selling phones outright, which caused all the black market problems and everything on initial launch, they just sold the phones outright. But once they decided, okay, this product is a hit, it's doing well, we're going to put an app store on it, and we're going to start capitalizing on it and start putting more hands as possible. They went to AT&T. And how AT&T would sell the phone is, although you are poor, you can't afford it, they would give it to you on a plan. And every month you pay 20 bucks a month, you get a mobile plan with a bit of data, and you get the phone. And
Right.
like that, you are basically delaying instant gratification for delayed value. So you instead of paying $400 or $500 at that time, I think the phone maybe cost 495 or 500 bucks. To put down that money upfront, you're doing it over 2 years. You get a 2 year plan, and you're paying 20 bucks every year, every month. So that's how they were able to sell millions of these phones. They
But
got
now,
lucky like
now
that.
one phone cost almost $2,000.
Correct. So that's inflation. That is inflation because the initial iPhone, I think at launch, let's look at iPhone one launch price. By the way, they're all being made in India now. I mean, most of them I think are being made in India. Let's look at the price of the iPhone. Look at that, bro. When the first iPhone launched, the price was 499 or 599. 599 probably is for a bigger, more GBs, or I'm not sure why, but 499. I would go with 499. That was the launch price. So even back then, when the first iPhone, this doesn't look like the first iPhone. I think this is iPhone 3G
This is the
maybe.
first iPhone.
Is this the first iPhone? Because the you gotta remember it was a metal. It was on a metal back. I think it was a plastic back. Was it the first?
No,
Yeah, this is the first
it
one.
was metal. Yeah.
Okay. So if I look at the first iPhone, uh, 2007. Yeah, might you're right. Let's look at the price
$600.
back in the day.
Yeah.
The first iPhone. It
Yeah.
says 399. So is that like
I
three
think
nine
it's
nine?
based
There was
on
16 GB model and
the
the 4G model. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think it was for yeah. Anyway, 399. Let's just go with that. Okay. So if it was for 399 back then, okay, and now
Hmm.
if I do a quick math on it, if it's 399 US, right? And today, how much is a new iPhone for?
I
Roughly
mean, there's so
1500,
many iPhones. So let's
1500.
go with the benchmark, or let's go with the top line, because that what defines the iPhone. The
Correct. If
cheaper
you think
ones
about
are
it, this
like,
is the top of the line. So if the top of the line phone is 499 or 599,
yeah.
for example, so iPhone 14 Pro
Hmm.
versus iPhone 1.
No, you won't get it. Nobody's thinking like us, dude.
Nobody's
There are
thinking
bigger
like us,
problems
bro.
than iPhone prices.
So iPhone 14 Pro in Australia is
Hmm.
um, 1,749 for the Pro or 1,899 for the Pro Max. So
Yeah,
let's
so we're
compare to
talking about
1,000.
1,300 bucks,
Yeah. So
1,300
you
US dollars.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
1,300 US.
1,300 US dollars backed by the military. Yes,
Yeah. So 1,300 US. Okay. So if you can't see my calculator, I think that's fine.
that's okay.
1,300 US minus the, let's just give it a normal price of 500. $800.
Yeah.
inflation has caused the phone to go up by 800 US dollars. So it's almost more than double the price. It's gone up.
Yeah, but you're looking it wrong, man. You're looking
Salaries are
it
going up
wrong.
as well, bro. What are you talking about, bro? These are,
16 GB versus 256 GB is a night and day. It has 120 hertz scrolling capacity. When you're doom scrolling, it's perfectly smooth. You won't
smooth,
even
mate.
know
Smooth.
while you're dying.
That's
Wow,
it.
so
That's it.
nice.
That's it. And it
Yeah,
unlocks itself. You don't have to swipe it to unlock. You just look at it and it unlocks. How good is that?
how amazing. I can give all my facial data to them. They're constantly listening to us.
Mhm.
So, you know, I was having this conversation with somebody, and I was like saying, that um, there's this concept of God that the Muslims believe in, that they're like two angels, like one angel's on the right side, the other angel's on the left side,
Christians
and
also
they're
believe that, I
recording,
think. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then this person, even though he's a practicing Muslim, he prays more than me. He said, yeah, but then there's this guy called John Elia from Pakistan. And he was like, if God knows everything, then why does he keeps like two angels? So to that, I was like, maybe he needs a witness. So
Mm.
maybe he needs a witness. So anyway, so my thing is like, this is the new, everything that we do is being recorded someplace, somewhere,
Oh my,
So this
sometimes even
way,
my wife sometimes tells me she feels like the phone is listening to her. Like I feel it. Like there was one time I was talking to my missus about pizza, and I think I was calling a friend over the phone, and she was telling me that she was talking about someone pizza, and suddenly all these pizza ads started coming in. I remember I was talking specifically about baby bags when I had my son. Those baby bags where you put your diaper in and everything. From outside looks like a normal handbag, but inside it's all, baby stuff. Wife was talking
hmm
about baby stuff, and suddenly she started getting all these ads in
right, we
YouTube,
need to keep
in
buying.
yeah, yeah. We need to keep, yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, I personally believe the phone is listening to you. Although they keep saying that the phone is not listening, Apple is blocking it. But the weird part is this, right? If Apple is blocking it, why I'm getting when I go to YouTube or I go to any of the Google services, I'm getting those ads. I feel like the phone is listening to me because I've not searched for it. And the weird part was this, right? All the searching is going on the wife's phone, not on my phone. I'm not searching anything. But when I got on my phone, I'm getting all this baby stuff. I not even once looked up even a nearby clinic or pregnancy related stuff or anything on my phone. Nothing. Not even talked about, okay, I'm becoming a dad, what book should I read? Nothing like that. So I was thinking in my head that all this baby stuff started coming in. Dude, she was talking about SUVs to me, did not do any search, and suddenly SUVs started coming up in the one before we bought the
you know.
Tesla. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, there's this guy I follow on Twitter. He's got something known as a thread on Fiat architecture, and he shows you
hmm
basically that when you had good money, hard money, like gold back in the day, what kind of what do you call architecture was being built, and then when we move to fiat money, what kind of architecture we are stuck with now, and it's just astonishing. Like he talks about like you can see all the buildings that are building now. The libraries, bro. If you look at the libraries of the classic age, like even 50 years ago, you look at all the national libraries, central library in America, in most of the countries, especially in the Western nations, libraries were beautiful, bro. They look like this Pantheon Greek architecture kind of a thing. And now you go fucking, they look like homeless shelters, bro. That's what they look like now. If you go there, it's just ridiculous, man. Like it's just it's astonishing. You look at all the stuff at the moment, trying to find it, and that's why I'm saying, bro, check this out. I'll show it to you. Today we just screen surfing, bro. Look at the
Oh yeah.
hell. Look at this. So this one is just got. Go vegetarian, leave the car, and have fewer children if you want to fight climate. The most
Of course.
effective measures to reduce emissions require major changes in Western way of life. Number one, the biggest polluter of all is my kids. Don't fucking have kids, mate. Don't have children. Then, I mean, look at it. Flying. Stop flying. Stop traveling. Don't go to that vacation. Don't visit your parents. Don't visit family. Fuck off. Like, just stay at home. Just stay at home. You know, we need windmills. I mean, this is washing machine. Stop washing. Don't wash your clothes, mate. Go to the river, find a nearby river with all the
Wow.
fluoride and
Yeah.
all the fucking chemicals in the river that are being flushed down the fucking tire, all the piss and shit that's coming down, and you just go and you just wash your clothes in that, and you can hang it out to dry. That's
Wow.
yeah.
Feels like India.
Even diamond rings. Now you get married, don't do that. Don't buy a diamond ring because that is polluting. That is polluting the environment. Don't do that, right? That's it. Get one of those onion rings, or get those plastic rings that you get for children and just put that on.
Plastic
It,
is
it just
not. Plastic is good for health.
I'm not sure, man. Recycle plastic maybe. Look at this one.
Oh, wow.
Everybody wants to be a border, but nobody want to lift no heavy ass weights.
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie Coleman. Yeah. This guy here, Severin Amasa, follow him. He talks quite a bit about Bitcoin. He
Right.
recently published a thread, and in that thread, he goes through all the Fiat architecture. It is just very, very good. He talks about, uh, check that out. Taylor Swift avoided $100 million FTX debacle by questioning whether exchange was selling, and she basically didn't sign up for it. They went to her as well, and she said that doesn't look like real money. That looks like a fucking scam. Sorry, I'm not doing it.
You
Like
mean crypto itself?
out of all the people, she identified
Oh,
it this
dude.
is a scam.
Wait, hold on. The
Yeah.
only OG we know right now is this Moroccan football player.
What about him? Tell me. I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
don't know about him?
No, no.
Oh, okay. So there's this Moroccan football player called Hakim something,
Okay.
and and so basically he was married to this woman
Oh
for a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
of
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He put everything in his mom's name. Is that the one? Oh man,
Yeah,
fucking hell. That was a
based as
gangster move,
fuck.
bro. Yeah,
And
that's a gangster move.
not
Yeah.
only that, he got to keep 50% of what his wife owned.
So. Wow, man. But still, it's a big thing. You
Fucking
put everything in your
sexist,
parents' name.
misogynist asshole laughing at it. Look at
But do
you.
you think they could change that? They could
Huh?
change that for the future. Do you think they could change that in the future? They could say things like, well, when you do inherit, your millions or
Hmm.
whatever from your parents, and then we can take it away from you. Do you think they can do
No,
that?
but then, no, I don't think so. But yeah,
Because
that
they're
was a
already
play.
doing that to millionaires, unrealized gains. Remember?
Hmm.
Yeah, unrealized gains. They're doing that to millionaires already. They're saying, okay, if you do not sell your property or asset, but it's gone up in value in the market, we can force you to sell. We can charge you unrealized capital gains.
Wow.
That's what they said. Yeah, yeah, they did, bro. Um, they did. Yeah. They already are doing. They're gonna tax our super. So super is like 401k in this country. I'm not sure what they
Hmm.
call it in. I'm not sure what they call it in Canada. But yeah.
Well, I'm out of, I don't believe in it, so I don't know.
Um, Look at that.
Yeah.
It's a great example. Uh,
Hmm.
Fiat
Right,
architecture,
right.
what they used to build and how they're building things now. It shows you
Yeah.
that money is basically taking everything away. So this guy, there's a lot of ones where it shows you the difference between architecture that is real
Hmm.
and compared to what shit they're building now. I mean, you can't get a house built like that anymore. No amount of money is
No.
gonna build you. This is what we are building now, right? We are building fucking
Cookie cutter
condos,
house. Yeah, this is
cookie
Dubai.
cutter houses. Is that
Yeah.
Dubai? Looks like Middle
Yeah.
East, definitely. Yeah. So like, look at this, bro. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
seriously. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. You know,
Yeah.
look at this. Look at what's on the
Yeah.
right hand side.
Yeah, the
The
right, right.
Balfour Towers, you know, like
So,
wow.
so, so, what you're looking at is brutalist architecture.
Brutalist architecture, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Is it like some kind of movement or
No, yeah, you can check it. Check just hashtag brutalist. Search for hashtag
within Twitter?
brutalist. Yeah, sure. Let's use Twitter. Let's support
Uh,
Twitter.
hashtag brutalist
That's it.
architecture.
Just don't, no need to.
Brutalist architect.
Sure.
What is this, man? What am I looking at?
Oh,
Uh,
you should just hashtag brutalist.
is this what are you talking about? These kind of
Yeah.
okay, I think I know what you mean. Very blocky, like this shit here.
Yeah. Uninspiring. It looks nice, for the camera.
It looks nice for black and white photography, but even in
Yeah.
color, look at this, man. Like
Yeah.
it looks like a set of 1984, bro.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
is this a movement? Is this like a proper?
Yeah.
Probably is
Yeah.
if someone fucking built it.
Yeah.
Look at this, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, this is an excuse for fucking not having value in your money. Government built buildings trying to pass on as if they are. Look at this, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. This is brutalist. Yeah. So basically, when you live in this kind of a situation, you're always depressed. There's no color. There's no nothing.
Bro, I mean, you should look at Story Hall. So if you look at Story Hall, I used to go for lectures over there, and they call this amazing architecture. Check it out. Just look at this abomination. It's in the center. These are the two classic buildings, and it's right in the center. It looks like some fucking virus or something that's taking over the rest of the, you know. Look at this.
Yes. I don't see. Where's the architecture?
It's this thing in the middle, and it's crawling over other places. This is the internal architecture. Yeah.
I don't
Story
know.
Hall. They call it. It's a theater. You
Looks.
can go there, attend lectures. It's just a mismatch. It's like my son, bro. Putting shit together using his Play-Doh. That's what it looks like. Look at this,
Mm.
man. Look at. I mean, what is this?
Look at University of Toronto, Scarborough campus.
Which campus?
Scarborough.
Scarborough campus. Is
Look
this
at that.
built or this is something that they're planning to build? Because they all
Yeah.
look like very 3D images.
Scarborough.
Is this the one?
No, no. The one, yeah. Look, the one below it. Below, yeah, yeah, yeah. That one. Yeah. The one next. Yeah, that's the one.
You know what this looks like? This looks like from Star Wars, the Imperial Army. It looks like the headquarters. Not even
Mm.
headquarters. It looks like a post office in where Darth Vader is about to go and visit or something like that. Like it's like
Yes. So they shot hands made tail here.
there you go, my.
Yeah.
Is this also
Yeah.
brutal? It's brutalist, but I'm not sure if it's part of the
Yeah.
University of Toronto
Never.
or not.
It's called striking modern
Yeah,
facade.
yeah, that's what you call architecture. Look at that.
Yeah.
SA University of Toronto.
Right.
Look at that. You wanna go and study here, or would you wanna go and study in this place? This looks
I
like,
don't.
dude. I remember in Dubai used to have hospitals looking like that back in the day, in the 80s and 90s when I was born. They used to have
Mhm.
hospitals look like that in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It was a more, yeah, I mean, the old hospital. I mean, hospitals I think still look like that. Like, they don't look pretty places to begin with. Like, this is a classic 80s, 90s Soviet, post-Soviet Russia. Czechoslovakian, Eastern European architecture. That's what. If you look at the Russian buildings, that's where it comes from. Uh, Soviet Union era architecture. So, this one here.
Yeah, this is the one.
Look at that. Look at this. That's what it is.
Yeah, so the communists are here.
Ukraine, the communists are here. You can recognize the communists. I think it's some famous movie. I can't remember. Big Lebowski or one of them. He's saying, "I know a communist when I see one." This is what it is. So look at this. Look at this.
Yep,
Fuck, bro. If you watch Koyana Kasti,
yep.
the Philip Glass one, it has all this stuff in there. But dude, it's insane that they had these buildings
So,
in
so
Soviet era
how
buildings.
di so how different is the world right now than what it was in Soviet Union? It's like what eh, what proof do you want? You know,
Yeah.
what proof do you want to know that hey, we are living in communist times. We are living in a facade.
I
So
think
whatever you
it's in everything. Like anything you buy, anything you purchase right now, it's impacted by inflation. In sense, like if you look at peanut butter jars, right? Inflation, peanut butter jars. Okay? So I'll show you what I mean. The easiest way to inflation has penetrated every facet of our society. So if you look at this one here, look at this, man. That's what's happening with inflation. If you look at, we are moving from steel caps, glass
hmm
jars, to these kind of jars, to this, moving to plastic jars now. And at the bottom of your jar, and the biggest impact that's happening, it's what's in your peanut butter. If you look at the ingredients, either they're changing the ingredients with more poor and cheaper versions of those ingredients, or
hmm
the the bump at the bottom of the jar, uh,
right.
jar
But hey, at least the people
that bought.
eating crap, at least the people eating this crap have money to buy a house, you loser.
If you look at this, if this is the bottom of your
Yeah.
your jar, this bottom here is being pushed up. So
Oh
what
yeah.
happens is the glass, the jar remains the same. They keep pushing it up so that the content in the jar starts
Yeah.
reducing. I bought a
Yes.
perfume the other day. The bottom bit is like tanned in black color, and the up part is like a golden color or whatever. So it looks like a nice design. It kind of is it transitions from a golden bottle to a dark bottle at the bottom. But then I looked
hmm
up in the sun. I turned it around, looked up in the sun, and dude, there's a huge bump at the bottom of the bottle. So save on the ml. So the amount of mls you're actually getting, your brain is reading 50 ml, okay, but the bottle looks like 70 ml. Like in your brain gets confused when you look at the bottle and the jar. You're
No,
perceiving it.
that
You're
that's
thinking,
how
oh, that's 100. Correct.
that's how they keep making money. So you're looking at this now. I had this idea back in 2015 when
Yeah.
I was going through a almost like cancerous situation, and I had to change my diet,
Mm.
which made me look into different kinds of alternative brands, like look into ingredients of each brand. And then we kind of figured it out that most of the stuff we see in supermarkets is filled with
It's garbage.
poisons
It's poison.
and chemicals. So, from since then, we've been only buying organic and high quality stuff, which is not cheap, but that gives me a good idea of how expensive it is to live a healthy life and gives you a right example of a healthy economy. Like if so, all this mixtures and like uh, fuck arounds with packaging, you know, GMO pesticides, so they
Oh
can have
man.
more yield. So that kind of is like, oh, you can have all these tomatoes for like $1, but they're filled with chemicals.
Yeah, look at the
Who
amount of
gives a
stuff they put in nowadays, man. If you look at what's in your peanut butter, I mean, dude, it's ridiculous.
So
What's in there the
I'll
moment?
say, I'll show you something. The brand I kind of use is called Nuts for You. Nuts for You peanut butter.
Mm.
Comes in a glass jar. There you go.
And it
Comes in a
just
glass jar.
plain peanut butter. That's it.
Yeah. And look at the price. It's not cheap. Oh, even Walmart sells it now. Look at that.
Oh yeah, they have to get in on that action, man. All that money that is
Yeah.
being made, how can we miss it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you look at this one here, look at the kind of shit that they're putting in
Yeah.
peanut butter now. Look at
Go
all
go
that,
and
man.
check the ingredients for Nuts for You. Just look at the ingredients. It's no, it's yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it should be there. Yeah. They're not gonna show the ingredients for it because it's just peanut butter.
Or is it just peanut? Is that the one,
It's
nuts
just,
and more peanut butter, or this one here?
yeah, yeah, that's the brand. You can go on the website.
Which one you want me to check?
Just check any website, dude.
Walmart Canada.
You gotta go on the website. So if you so the only ingredient you need for peanut butter is peanut butter, peanut
Yeah,
grinded,
that's it. There's
right?
nothing in it. Yeah, that's all
There's
there is.
there's nothing special.
Just
Dry
dry
roasted,
roasted peanuts, fine. That's it. There's
that's
nothing
it.
there.
So, and it's not that expensive. However, the only problem is, and this is where humans inherently fuck up, is that people want, when I'm putting my peanut butter on the bread that is made of GMO wheat, I need it to slide. My hand needs to
Should be
slide
smooth.
on it like this. Like, and then when we put our spatula or spoon inside, it it's too hard, you know. So what happens is these companies say, "Oh, you are right. Customer is right." You know,
Mm,
here's a new product. This is new peanut butter,
mm,
improved formula, and when we put the spoon in, it goes in nice. You can keep it there for 5 months, 7 months, doesn't matter. Whenever you realize that you need that peanut butter, you go, you pick it out from the pantry, take your shitty bread, which is filled with GMO, and then you slide on it. And then when you put some jelly on it, that's filled with lots of sugar, because obviously the fruits that
you're
we,
making me hungry now, bro.
yeah, lots,
I need
lots of
some of
sugar.
that peanut butter.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are idiots. Like, if there's this famous David Fincher line, of that he's like, from my understanding, I've always kept this understanding that humans are perverts. Just makes
Mm,
my life easy. So,
mm,
so I have an understanding that humans are idiots. They have been fooled for years and years, and they keep on, going for things that make them feel like they're kings when they are
mm.
not. Owning houses without having the money.
The rich on paper.
Uh, right? Being a debt slave. So they like that. So what you're seeing with the inflation is just, the roosters coming home, you know. So this is nothing new. And this has happened for years and years and years. And then this the cycle of the cycle of delusion goes away, and people get a rude awakening, and that's about it. By that time, it's all fucked. So
Yeah, I think a lot
we
of
are
people are
witnessing
rich
that.
on paper, but they're not really. A lot of people are rich on paper, but in reality, they're gonna be wiped. They're gonna get rug pulled when.
So they
If
won't.
do you think so?
Yeah,
No,
because
the ones who
because we
own
live in a
assets.
democracy.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an
It's
asset
it's
that you
the only
own, that's a different story.
even a even gang rape is democracy. You know.
Among
So
among the people in power, yes, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So if more people are delusional, they will keep the delusion alive. Because if they start saying that, oh, this my delusion is not real, then if they're being true to themselves, then the rug will be pulled. If the people believe in the bullshit, they will keep on printing money, and most people, even though they know what's happening is wrong, will keep their mouth shut because they will be like
Well, there's a new bank
unhesitantly,
collapsing, isn't it?
yeah, First Republic.
Hmm. And what's the reason why is it happening?
Ah, you know, you want to know the reasons?
There are reasons, not one reason. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Hmm.
it's like it's inevitable. Uh, like we said before, I think I don't know if we spoke about this before, but by keeping interest rates low
Hmm.
and giving money for free to everybody, anybody who's producing and working hard is being backstabbed, and people like there's this new trend
You heard
happening
Jacinda
in US.
Ardern. Jacinda Ardern joined Harvard University in AI research. You heard that?
What?
She got a fellowship.
What?
Jacinda Ardern,
I don't
ex-prime
know.
minister of
Oh,
New Zealand, ex-PM
wait,
of New Zealand. That bitch.
I don't know. I
She
don't.
she's getting she's getting a fellowship at Harvard University.
Of course.
Just sit on your ass, rock up. And AI research. Like, what does she know about AI research, dude? Like, like, you know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, whatever. But in US, they're making a new law in which if you are uh, what do you say, a person with good credit, you pay your bills on time, you will be paying more interest than the people who have low credit.
mm,
So,
mm,
so, so the whole point of you paying bills on time and being responsible and saving and being meticulous with your finances gives you more punishment of higher interest rates. Whereas if you are careless with money, your credit score is low, you get low interest rates. So why would people give a fuck? So this is
mm.
happening. I have been saying this for the past, not just me, like, someone like Ron Paul. He has been saying this for years now. Like, come on, we have to
Mm.
give where credit is due. Ron Paul has been on this for a long time, and the Roosters have come back. Was that shitty phrase, but whatever. It's time.
Roosters have come home to roost.
Yes.
The
So
chicken have
this
come
is
home to roost or something.
yeah, whatever. So this is what's gonna happen, and
What you
this is
reap is
gonna
what you
continue.
sow, mate. Yeah.
So what's gonna happen? This is what's going to happen. And the fact that most people, you say, you know, they will play along because they like, they want the delusion. They will maneuver, they will have no chivalry. There's no chivalry, we agree. There's no sense of truth. Look at what they did with
I
Tucker
actually
Carlson.
displayed some chivalry a couple of months ago, and people were like,
Oh
"Why are
my
you doing
God.
that?
Why?
Why are you doing
What?
that?" To a colleague at work. It was night time. We finished eating from the restaurant, and so I don't mean to hijack, but I thought I'll just bring it up. And we finished eating in the restaurant in the city, and there's some alleyways that we go through to get to the parking, which is within a multi-story, multi-story car parks that you park your car in for the entire day when you go to work in the city. Just had dinner with colleagues, and she said, "Can you walk me?" So I walked her, and there's a couple of other colleagues who are male, and I said to them, "Look, I'm gonna go drop her. You guys want to just you know, uh, give us some company?" And they said, "Yeah, sure, bro." And then they came along, and then once she went inside and got into the elevator to go to her car upstairs into the building, we were downstairs. He goes to me, "So Omar, chivalry is not dead, huh?" And I go, "Yeah." And then the rest of them are like, "Well, you don't need to drop her. Like, she can go herself." I said, "Well, number one, she asked. I would not have, but I think that the concept is not about safety. A lot of people think that if you're showing chivalry, it is about safety or protection or some shit like that. No, it is a display of your manliness. You know, it's like if you're walking down a footpath on a road, on a side road, and there's cars coming and going. Usually, what happens is that you get the woman to walk on the outer side, and you walk on the side that's facing towards um, the road. So if a car gets on the curb or something, you're kind of like are protecting the kid or the person who's on the other side beside you. If it's a truck,
Hmm.
it's not going to save anybody. But I think that the idea of chivalry is is very important especially in young men, in boys to practice because it's not about protection. There's enough protection already. That's not going to happen. But I think the idea is that fuck man, I got allergies. The idea is this that what you're doing is you're instilling that behavior that is automated. It's like when you go to the restaurant, when a female is about to sit, you pull out a chair and she can sit down. These things are automated. You're instilling this behavior that is on autopilot. You know what I mean? As soon as you go in, you see an elderly person, you get up for them in the train so that they can sit down, or there's a pregnant lady. I mean, she doesn't need protection. She doesn't need anything. But an older gentleman who's also a colleague long time ago, 10 years ago, I think I met him. He told me that I once was going into a building and there was a lady, she was coming out. And those glass doors. He opened the glass door, he saw her coming, so he held it open. And as she passed through, and she said, "You do not need to open the door for me. I can do it myself." And he told her, "I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for myself." Right? So I think the idea is that you're doing it for yourself. This whole idea that we are doing them a favor by doing it for them. No, no. We are doing it so that when our children see us or our family members see us, it's instilling that behavior because you're doing it, they're doing it. If you don't do it, they're not going to do it. So I don't know. I mean, I don't usually do all that stuff, but because she asked, I did it. So it's not like I'm someone special. But the idea is that because I did it, it was even more surprising for my male friends to see that a woman asked for it to be. You know, she asked me, "Can you drop?" You know,
Hmm.
so we are in Melbourne. Nothing's gonna happen here. We're not like in some bad part of the suburbs where you're gonna get robbed or mugged on your way to getting into your car. But I think that expectancy is there from certain. There are women in society who expect no matter wherever she herself sits in the hierarchy, she wants males to do her thing, do their thing. And yeah, and I thought that there are females like that who want chivalry, who want their friends and their brothers and family members to look after them and do certain things in the house. Like I still take out the trash in the house, right? So I think that certain things, have been kind of preordained for certain families that, okay, you are a male, this is what is expected of you. You are a female, this is what is expected of you. Certain roles are there. And look, there are a lot of people who are challenging it. Oh no, now we should be able to do those things interchangeably and stuff like that. But I think I mean, it's like in Sopranos. Tony Soprano, he tells his kids that, outside, she said like, Dad, we're not living in like 1980s in 1960s anymore. We're in 2000. Hello, he goes like 2001 outside, 1968 inside the house. Like, so I've got my own rules. If you're under my roof, this is how it's gonna be. So I think we are just living in a time where people are completely delusional. They're out of touch, out of reality.
So, yeah, so coming back to the inflation part, so people are delusional, they lack chivalry, they lack
Yeah.
morals, they lack understanding of being good. And, if if they are doing good and the people, the poor are suffering, who gives a
But
fuck?
yeah, but they are doing good, bro. They are the ones who have money. They have like 20, 30 properties. They are doing good, So like, look this one. This is the clip I was looking for. I'm sure. Can you see that?
Hmm,
It's coming, I think.
waiting.
Check
Yeah.
this out.
So I thought I was doing a lot. I had 60 rental properties and about $10 million in real estate owned. But wait 1 minute. Got 242 units, $32 million in real estate. Boom. 2,500 units, 175 million. Boom. 220 houses, 25 million. Boom. About 1,500 units, 45 million. Boom. 4,288 units, $335 million. Boom.
I mean, you think about it. These people are rich on paper, and this is all pre-COVID. I mean, this is all probably pre-COVID or at least in COVID, but definitely pre-interest rate hikes. Can you imagine how these people got wrecked right now? Because they obviously used equity to build and build and build. I mean, they're if he's worth 10 million, he's only, actually the funny thing is there's this one guy here. Um, where is it? Oh man, when you screen share it, this thing just goes to shit.
Hmm.
But anyway, I think you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's one guy standing between them. He's got that face like I have no money. He's feeling bad for himself that I have no money, I'm poor. But in reality, he's the lucky guy now. He has no debt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you think about it, right?
Yeah,
So
that was the joke, like people were like, "Oh man, it's gonna get
yeah,
worse." I'm like, "For who?
yeah, yeah,
Y-
yeah. So
It's not it's not gonna get worse for you because you don't have money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse if you, yeah.
You
Um,
think you have money."
and like people have put all kinds of memes like that, like this famous gif from The Big Shot. It's
Yeah,
a bubble, sell, sell, sell. Like
yeah,
this guy here. That look
yeah,
when you get fuck all. It's like when you got fuck all. That's the guy who's standing next, and look at the t-shirts way. Stay humble, stay hungry. Like how does that even work, man? One of the guys is wearing that, right? Like what the hell, man? So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, in reality, if you're poor, you're actually better off right now, I think. Plus, you're getting all these handouts from the government. You don't need to worry about anything, right? Yeah, it's amazing, bro. We're living in an amazing time, right? Being homeless
Think
and
about
being
it.
poor is probably the best way to go about it now.
I mean, you can be a millionaire or you can be a billionaire, but they cannot be like this notion that everybody is gonna become a billionaire is also stupid. Like it's like you're
You
going
need the
against
slaves.
the law. You're going against the law of universe. It's not possible.
Mm.
It's not possible.
It's like when you go to work and they tell you that all of you are going to be future leaders, all of you will succeed, and all of you will grow.
It's like going
What
to
a
school.
joke, man! It's like going to school and all of you are equal. All of you, all of you get a certificate for participation, right?
Bullshit.
Bullshit, bro. Like it's like there's only one gold medalist. There's only one winner. All of you
Of
are
course.
fucking losers, man. That's what
No,
Yeah, I
but
think it just
here's the part where I disagree. This idea that, oh, just because you don't have gold, you're a loser. Now, this might sound like a communist thing for me to say, but I'm not saying it in a communist point of view. I'm saying it in a point of view of spirituality. I'm saying in a point of view of reality. Like some people, so this is my concept. Back in the day when they were kings, kings were murderers. They had no fucking mercy. They used to kill people. They used to kill their own brothers. They used to kill their own children. Children used to kill their own parents.
yep,
Okay? If
for
you
the
want to be
throne.
number one, be ready to do
Hmm.
all the bad things
That's what
that
Succession
you.
is about. If you watch that show, I think I mentioned you offline.
Yeah, I
It's
know, I
exactly
know.
like that. It's about a guy who owns a media empire. Now he's thinking out of the three children, which I'm gonna pick to succeed into my empire.
Why do you think Games of Thrones was such a hit? Because
Yeah.
deep down, the population is wanting to be a king. They are willing to fucking backstab people. They're willing to snitch to go ahead, gain traction. And from what I see, you want to be a gold medalist, great. Just because someone's not a gold medalist doesn't make them a bad person. You know what I mean? There's gonna be Elon Musk. There's gonna be Jeff Bezos. Do you want to be an Elon Musk? That means you have to work hard. You have to think out of the box. You have to build companies. You have to be ready to take the shit. Or you can just take government contracts, build a situation where you destroy the retail economy. And to be honest, I think in a way that was great because the retail economy, when you go to a brick and mortar shops, right? Like you go to Best Buy. Most of the time, I remember back in 2015, when you go to a Best Buy, you knew more than the person selling, the young guy selling, because he doesn't
Because the
give a
internet
fuck.
and
He's not,
everything as well. Yeah.
yeah, but
Even
he
now.
just comes, he just comes there to stock shit, right? And make the money so he can pay his bills and get pay his rent. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't want to do this dead end job, you know. For him, it's a dead end job. So, so in a way, it was what it was. But then there's certain today I went to this store, so I'm going on a camping trip, and I wanted to get some sandals for hiking that I can use for on rocks and water. So like water sandals. So I went to this specific small hole in the wall shop in one of these cool hipster districts, and they had these brands that you have never heard of, cottage brands, right?
Mm.
And the kind of shoes they had, and the kind of sandals they had, and the person who was selling was into it. It's like, oh, I own a pair. This is how it looks after I used it for a year. So I think that this idea that, oh, you gotta be a gold medalist, otherwise you are a loser, is a stupid concept. You don't have money is not the only thing to think about.
Well, what I'm trying to say is just to elaborate a bit. Whenever there are winners, there's gonna be losers. The mentality that they have in school of trying to create healthy competition is where the problem comes. That you need to aim for, because the whole thing is inherently built like that, right? They have a mark sheet of between 0 to 100, and they celebrate and they hand out awards to fucking kids who, you know, have continuously topped their class or topped the average.
So this movie, There Will Be Blood, is a very good example of being a winner. Because end of the day, you're a loser as well. Like to find the balance of being a winner is not easy. That's how I
Mm,
see it.
mm. He wins, he gets what
Uh,
he wants, but then he's alone at
so,
the end.
so what do you mean by a winner? A winner to me is a person who has a balanced life. Most people don't. Uh, they're all like all these people that you just showed me. Oh, I have a 10 million, 60 rentals, I make 10 million. Yeah, what are you producing? What are you making? Nothing.
They're producing
To
houses,
make is
right?
hard.
So people can live in them and pay rent, pay someone else's mortgage. That's what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think what will happen is what people deserve.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's an IQ test as well. It's a bit of an IQ test as well. How do you behave? What you decide to do with your money? What you have a limited amount of energy inside you, and how do you tend to use that energy to what you're planning to build? So I think, yeah, it's an evolutionary process, isn't it? I mean, you know, in this free market, it'll automatically get rid of all this garbage and all this rubbish that is there.
Darwinism.
Darwinism, yeah. So, um, what are your thoughts on the whole idea of financial education is not taught in schools? Actually, it's not taught
Well,
anywhere. Not
actually,
how to
funny
make
you.
millions of dollars. No, I'm talking about personal finance. Like how,
Yeah,
what is money?
they've been teaching. So funny enough,
Yeah.
you say this because today my son, I was driving and he texted me. You gotta tell me how credit card statement works. I'm like, okay, yeah, you gotta tell me now. So, yeah, so they are kind of teaching kids now because there are some based teachers out there who actually want to teach kids and see society being good. So all these people you just saw again, I'm gonna show these millionaire, billionaires where they do not, they are living in their bubble and they don't care what's happening outside of how they are affecting the society. So, for example, if somebody wants to do rentals, they should get into commercial rentals, commercial property rentals, because in that it's pure business. There's a business needs a space. You have a space that that particular business needs. That business has an option to go out, take a loan, okay? Or the business owner can put a lien on his house, get a loan, put that lien as a down payment for the business, and own the property on which his business is running, so that he's basically putting whatever rent he's supposed to put or pay a landlord, he's putting towards his own equity over the lien that's on his house. But people won't do that. So only the rich, very few people will own, like the ownership of property would be in balance.
Mm, mm,
And if you want to kick someone out, you're not doing anything wrong. If you're increasing the rates, it's based on society. But all these people who want to buy small houses and they're kind of taking away opportunities from families to actually grow. There are a lot of people I know, they don't want to start a family because they don't own a house.
oh, there are a lot of people. There are people who have that mentality until I have a secure job, a car, a decent house. I don't want to have kids. So everybody's delaying things because
So
money is
this
eating
is
away at
this
everything.
is
Inflation is
this
eating
is
away
part of
everything.
this is part of the depopulation. It's the same climate change concept that you just shared before. It's like, oh, if you're having kids, it's bad for the environment. So if you do buy that concept and you put that in your brain as, oh, this is gospel, you're not gonna have a kid. And you're basically letting the system control what you really want because you say, oh, having kids is bad for climate change. Some people say, hey, listen, if I have a kid, I need to have a house, you know, and if I can't afford a house, I'm not gonna have a kid. So those people get, older and they sometimes don't have kids. So it's and the more people who don't have kids have no empathy because they don't see, you know, innocence. They all live in the society of, the social status. Look at me, I have this house, I'm this rich, and look how cool my
And
clothing
they're all
is.
thinking about becoming a startup, make millions of dollars in within a matter of months. Or
And they don't have kids. They have nothing to ground on.
they don't have
And what they
responsibility. They don't
do,
even have assets. Most of them.
and so they have all the money, and then they are the ones who basically own a lot of shit. They are the ones who pay political parties more donations. They make the super PACs, and then they pay politicians to basically do what they like. And in return, the people who actually have kids, they suffer. Or you can have kids and still be an asshole, right? So,
Yeah, like Bill Gates.
uh,
Yeah. But the thing is this. University systems. Like I was listening to Peter Thiel. He is one of the co-founders of PayPal. I think people know who he is. Just look him up on the internet. And I love listening to him because if you listen to certain
he's based.
certain speeches or not even speeches, certain conversations he's had, interviews he's had from the last 7, 8 years ago, and you listen to it, you go like far out, man. This guy seems way ahead. He talked about the education system in America and how it's a complete failure, and he's against sending children uh, to university. And someone asked him recently that, do you still believe the
Oh, I
same?
think like a billionaire then.
Do you still believe in that thing? And do you believe that we should still not send children to school? I mean, to university. And if if they do go, what should they study? Would you recommend something? He said, well, in the last decade, computer science is the only thing that I would recommend, to learn at uni. But even that now, I think, you can learn yourself online. And second was petroleum engineering. He said, he said that as they start cutting down on fuel consumption and blocking the production of oil and everything, all the the industry is going to start having a lack of petroleum engineers because environment, all that stuff is having. So people are going to stop studying that. Enough, not enough students will be coming out of the university system who are qualified enough to work in petroleum, to work in gas and all that, and then and to do the same job, that you'll get paid a lot more money because there will be a gap in the market. Because think about it, at the moment everybody's busy studying computer science, being an entrepreneur. You got to go to uni to study entrepreneur. Like I remember, man, back in the day when I went to uni, I met someone who did a degree, a 3-year degree in becoming an entrepreneur,
Wow.
and I'm thinking to myself
Why?
at that time that maybe they have professors or lecturers who have a business of their own, or people who who design the curriculum, maybe, but it was nothing like that. I found out much later that it was nothing like that. But
It's
it's
a
just that
nice
when you're
scam.
in that system, when you're in that system, you're so into it, and you're so under pressure to finish your degree and all that, and you can't pull out. It's just too hard. So a lot of people are just like
So
brain dead
the
and
amount of money he spent in the uni, he could have invested and started becoming an
it's like going to
entrepreneur.
filmmaking school to study how to make movies and spending 100 grand to try. Yeah, the amount of money that back then was spent. But then that's how I think the immigration works, right? Australia's immigration system is completely broke. They recently, discovered it, and the government has now decided to revamp the entire immigration process. And
Right.
looks, I mean, dude, it's also discriminatory as well. It favors people from European backgrounds. It
Hmm.
used to. Now it's changing slightly. But even in that one, Indians are the highest population that migrates. So I think now they're
Of course.
thinking, okay, we just don't want people coming in here doing computer science. We want other bits of talent as well, which India cannot support. They might need. Plus, Indians are moving on to other places as well. They're going to Europe. They're going to Americas.
They're coming to
Um,
Canada.
they're going to Canada, right? So there's competition now for talent, and India cannot supply all of it. So then you start thinking about, okay, we need to look towards Africa. We need to look towards other countries because China was the biggest, and that's going to run dry because they fucked themselves in the back by um, having a relationship with China, because China was our trading partner. They were buying coal from us, wine from us, and everything. So we went ahead and shook hands with America and said, "Oh, that's fine. We will buy submarines and we will go up against China." And they kind of vilified China in that sense. They could have just kept them as a trading partner and had that relationship, but they decided to kind of just that whole relationship has turned sour. And because of that,
Hmm.
nobody's buying anything from us, so our exports are down. So we need to look at other partners. India is one of them. So hopefully India will buy our coal and buy all the stuff from us. But I don't know how that's going
Well,
to happen.
well, that's all shit. Anyways, I think we should end it today.
Yeah, we went for almost 1.5 hours. Um,
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, there's lots.
There's lots, man.
Just not right now.
All right, we'll get
All
back
right,
on
man.
track for next week, bro. And
All
actually,
right.
we are on track, but we just need to bring up some more topics that I guess I want to talk a bit about vax, the stuff that's happening in the vaccine world with
Mm-hmm.
Moderna, Pfizer, and all that on the business side, and the new BRICS. You heard about the new BRICS, the Asian G8, G7 that they're
There's
making.
so much going on.
There's a lot of going on. We'll talk about it next week. All right. See you,
All
man.
right. All
See you,
right.
bro. Bye.
All right, man. Bye.